Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week is the last episode of the year, and we're going to be sitting down with the Gold Hoarders to talk all about what they think of Season 18, the Orb stream, the Hourglass Changes coming up, as well as the Eternal Guard and more. With that, pirates, let's get into it. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They were the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast to support this content, to make it easier for myself to be able to do the editing, to be able to do the production needed to be able to give you guys the content over on Spotify, YouTube, Podbeam, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you guys are listening to this. It is all made possible through the software and tools that I use that are then paid for and supported by because of the patrons. So thank you so much for your love, for your support. It really does help make sure that the payments and stuff like that all go through. So thank you to A-Chick, L-Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chunky, Captain Longsharts, Chateau Neuf, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Crazy Frog, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Carl Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Kylia the Aficionado, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Rabid Raccoon, Regis Stella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Sea Leg Sam, Shoe Daddy 13, Scamelt 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wailing Witch, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Hager Owl, Jeff H, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Zam. Wow. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support. I hope you all have a fantastic holiday this season, regardless of what you're celebrating or not. I hope that you're taking care of yourself, helping take care of others, and ensuring that you're having a good year. With that, pirates, let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to the December update for the Keelhauled podcast with the Gold Hoarders. This episode is a jam-packed one, as I'm sure a lot of folks have a lot of opinions that they want to share regarding the latest stream from Sea of Thieves with the Orb, as well as the kickoff to Season 18 and the first act within that. So we have a jam-packed group of folks joining us this weekend, as it will be probably the last episode to go out this year. So fitting that we get to sit down and chat with the Gold Hoarders to discuss how they feel about the latest update, as well as the Orb as well too. So for the next hour, we're going to be kicking it off with the top of the list, starting out with A-Chick. A-Chick, how you doing? Welcome in.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. Next up, we've got Blue Crab jumping in. Blue Crab, how you doing?
Doing good.
Good to hear. Next up, we've got Godhammer. Hammer, how you doing?
The speaker for the Orb has arrived.
Yay, we have the speaker. Next up, we've got Carl Embo. Carl, how you doing, buddy?
We're covered in flu here, but we're surviving.
Ooh.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, definitely. Take care. Next up, we have Regis Stella coming in. Regis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Very good. I'm looking forward to Christmas because I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah. Hopefully you get some good stuff this year at least.
I'm getting some One Piece manga.
Sweet. There you go. Next up, we've got Rustbelt Kid. Rusty, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Just basking this 70-degree December day.
Brilliant. Who would have suspected? And last but not least, we have Sea Leg Sam. Sam, how you doing?
I've come from the people of nondomeaccommodations.com.
Glad to have the representation. All right. So I wanted to kick things off and just kind of say, like, this is, for all intents and purposes, going to be whatever you guys want to discuss. But I figured I'd toss out the topic and get a gauge on how everyone's feeling about Season 18, as well as the Orb stream, the Festival of Giving, the supportive streamer stuff. Generally just kind of opening it up and seeing how does everyone feel about the orb stream. Were you excited for it, or are you happy to have it come back? Was there anything that stood out to you that you wanted to talk about as far as the lore or the presentation, and just kind of open this up? So looks like Hammer's willing to take the or volunteer for tribute. So what do you got, Hammer?
Orb is Lorb. I am so glad the Orb stream came back. I am so glad. This is honestly one of the most fun things that Rare does, and I'm so glad it was back. I was the volunteer to for the Keelhauled Discord, among a couple others, to shout out when certain drops were coming in. Because I know that it can get overwhelming for people. And so I took on the responsibility of making sure that every time a drop occurred, I knew that I had notifications going out to let people know to get their drops. When a lore thing was coming, actually, I wasn't so good at that because they were happening at weird times. But everyone, all my favorite people got their drops. And just besides that, it's just such a good little community thing because it gets everybody together and it gets everybody talking. People were rushing out into in-game to find like the journals that they put into the game during the thing, and it was just good. There was just so much community, like goodwill going on at that point. Just seeing certain bilge rats getting raided by the main Sea of Thieves account and getting their excitement it's just a goodwill event, and I loved it, and it was great.
Yeah,
and I had a great time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Anyone else have some thoughts on the orb stream?
Yeah, I've got some thoughts. I echo pretty much everything Godhammer said. For me, it was nice to see them focus on some of the smaller creators, including the Bilge Rats. Yeah, they had some partners involved there, but seeing some of my fellow Bilge Rats get raided by it and just their reaction was just priceless. And really, it's kind of career changing for them because they got hundreds of follows. They've got new people that are stopping in their chat, seeing, what they're about, those types of things. And that's just amazing for, the future of their, them being creators.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else? I know, Carl, you actually got raided by the orb.
I did. I was the second to last one on our family channel before they finished off with Skelly Curse. Pretty much echoing what Godhammer said. It really brings the community together, these events, and it shows that there's still a hunger for that. I think it fluctuated from between 3,000 to 6,000 people that were going in the raids each time. And it just shows there's that desire for these kind of events still. And the way that they were also dripping things into the game as we went along, it got people talking, it got people excited going to the places. And yeah, it just felt like as if it was alive again. So it's great to have the orb back. And it's really good to get the third variation of it as well. As for myself getting the actual raid itself, it doubled the followers on my family account, which is absolutely massive. It gave me and my son a really big platform to really showcase who we are. Although in the actual moment of it, it's so overwhelming, that many people coming in. And yeah, people like I've got to shout out Roman, who I think he dropped subs in every single channel. He absolutely went crazy with it. And it is a massive change. And once we get over this flu, we will be going back live, and I'm excited to see just what new faces are going to come back. There's a lot of positive reaction to it. And of course, yeah, they made a mistake with the drops, but they fixed it towards the end. And fair play to Status Hidden. Massive shout out to him for controlling that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. Anyone else have any feelings on the orb stream?
Just bring it back. Just keep every year, please. Let's do it again.
So I know for myself, I was pretty excited about the orb and just what we were getting. The new bit of lore was fantastic. It was really nice to have us kind of get some depth into that, and actually have like an idea of like maybe what the future of 2026 is going to look like, at least from the orbs perspective, as a lot of the stuff that they talked about were all things that were kind of inevitably working towards the benefit of the actual widow, as opposed to what the future of Sea of Thieves was going to be in general. It was interesting to hear that for all intents and purposes, the widow was their will was what was being prophesized. You know, the coming of the GMU, the great war between the legend of the Pirate Lord and the Flameheart King of the Seas and stuff. So I was very happy to see that there was kind of a not a narrator, but a kind of like a manipulator in the market to go ahead and kind of like give us a bit of a look into what the Sea of Thieves is going to turn into. Anything else you all wanted to touch on with the orb, or did you all want to move on to season 18, or did you want to talk about the supporter streamer stuff or the Twitch drops?
I'll jump in about the supporter streamer. As everybody knows, like initially it was just for partners, and then they did change it kind of last minute, and I'm glad that they did, because it just gives everybody an opportunity to, you know, like have their community support them, especially if they've been around for a long time, they want to support us. So I was really happy about that change.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well too. It's nice that they had the opportunity to fix it and they went ahead and did.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about that, obviously amongst the build rats and stuff, and fair play to Joe and Becky, they handled it really well. And yeah, they definitely got the message back. And I think it is the right choice. It was very strange to go just partners only when it's called Sports a Streamer. But I'm definitely glad that they were able to backtrack and make those changes so quickly. It shows a willingness to correct it as well.
Yeah, and hopefully that's something that they can continue in the future too. I would rather them actually ensure that the future streams or future events and stuff like that really do benefit all streamers, as opposed to just trying to cater to one particular group, because that doesn't necessarily feel like a community movement in the way that it really should, with a lot of folks who are putting in time and effort into it.
Yeah, that's I want to jump in and just be like, I see a lot more build rats. Like, full disclosure, I'm on good terms with both Carl and Achik, who are both in the build rats, but like I see a lot more build rats getting out there and putting in more time and effort than some of the partners. Like, not all of them. Like Chap is a fairly committed partner, but like, I don't know, I don't see a lot of movement from like other big names, and it's just like I think the build rats need just like more love for that, because they're out there doing it like almost every day and just really pushing the game and putting in the time and effort. I think they deserve a little bit more love for it. Yeah,
I would agree with that as well too. I think the build rats are hungry to get that attention, to get that support and interest, and a lot of the partners rightfully doing what they need to do to ensure that they are surviving in the streaming world. It's a very hard gig to keep with, especially if there's a really popular game and other players, you know, other people are wanting to see that kind of content from their favorite streamer. It's almost incumbent on them to try and support that need, that growth, to kind of help diversify your team or your community as well too. So it's nice to see that, at least in the sense of the build rats, they are still young and hungry as streamers to try and get that support, get that attention, build that community. And having the supporter streamer expanded to them was a good way to help try and reinforce that as well too. Did we want to jump into season 18 in that case before we jump off of the orb stream and any of the supporting streamer stuff?
The only other thing I'd touch on beforehand is probably the holiday haul stuff, the gift giving.
Yes.
Because that's kind of like on the back of the orb, isn't it? So obviously, once the orb had finished, the next day the holiday haul started, where Pirate Legends were able to give out the Obsidian grapple gun, and then you had the partners, AAs, and Bildrats doing the holiday haul items, which is an Obsidian 6-pack, the Gilded Phoenix ship crest, and of course the grapple gun as well. I just want to say that I absolutely love this idea. I think it's such a better way to interact with people on the seas. Now I'm lucky because of my work with SoftBest that I have got access to the AA side of that, where I can do the holiday haul giveaway, and the amount of interactions we get through that, and being able to gift the people there and then, rather than have to go, okay, well, we'll take your name, we'll send it off, and in a week or 2 weeks you'll get items in your inventory. To be able to like interact directly with the people and give them, it's great. I think it's quite tricky doing the challenge of giving free gifts away for those who are just Pirate Legend. But I think it's a great idea. It's a new spin on things, and I think it's a really good way to end the year on, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
I just had a thought, because it's getting, for some people, it's getting difficult to find unique players to give away those gifts. If they were to do this again next year, and I think they absolutely should, my idea for that would be to have the prime gift, like they had the Obsidian grapple gun this time around. But then after both players have received that gift, they should be able to, on a cooldown, like a 24-hour cooldown during the event, give away a lucky voyage, and have that count towards the counter for how many voyages that, or how many gifts they have to give away for to get their own lucky voyages and so on. That would be my idea for next year.
Sam, what'd you have?
I had, it's going to sound really bad, but I haven't actually done any of the seasons of giving away the black, the gift. Let's just call it that. But what I thought was really good about it is some people that are maybe not usually would like even think about talking to other players on seas. Like, I've got a few friends that play this now finally, and just seeing them starting to interact with a few players that maybe they wouldn't have never talked in the game before, just to do this, I think is really quite good.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's fantastic that it's opening up the door to folks to have that opportunity to do it in a way that doesn't invite violence necessarily. Like, there's no real reason for people to need to go attack others if they don't have to with this. But since we're getting into it, let's talk about the Festival of Giving. I think that the Festival of Giving has been a very interesting trade-off lately. I would say that majority of us are used to the whole gift giving thing, where you're either, and Rare's tried this multiple times, where you've either gone and gotten gifts and then tried to get people to turn in the gifts for you. That has most recently been alleviated in a means of getting the Reaper Fortresses with the loot that they have there. Still, folks having trouble actually getting access to the gifts and then having someone else turn them in. The other ways that they've done it in the past is things like donating treasure by going and taking treasure and putting it on another person's ship, which typically ends up being that you sink the ship and then take your treasure back. So not really in the generous nature. I think the email or the emote means of going about this is genuinely one of the best ways that they've worked to try and implement this. And I think that this is very easily the way that they should go about it for future uses. I think, to Godhammer's point, there's some tweaks and some learnings that they could take away from this event to help ensure that it's easier for people to actually get access to some of the rewards that are out there. But for those that are working towards it, I know I was able to get all of mine by taking a day or two to kind of sit on the ferry and offer them as people were coming to the ferry, especially taking chain shots from my ship, since I wasn't planning on doing anything but sitting on the ferry. I took all my chain shots with me to the Ferry of the Damned, and anyone that looked like they were taking the time to come out and try to take the gift or at least engage with it, I would stop the emote and then hand them a chain shot. Even if they couldn't get the emote or the gift or give me progress, they tried. I wanted to give them like a participation award, especially with folks coming to the ferry as a result of Hourglass fights. Sometimes those chain shots can mean a lot to them, and getting a random one on the ferry, not too often would that normally happen. So I wanted to then pass it off to chat. What did you all think so far of the Festival of Giving? Have you gotten your Voyages of Luck? Have you had any tips or tricks to people who might be still working on this?
I was gonna say, Logan, like obviously most people know that like I don't get to sail very often anymore. And I know some people are having a hard time just kind of doing it naturally in the game, which I think we all can agree. Like that's why like with Godhammer saying that there could be some tweaks to this going forward into the future and stuff like that, which I do agree with. But for as little as I've been playing, I mean, I've got to play twice this week, which is unheard of this time of year. But I don't know. I haven't had a hard time at all. Like, I mean, granted, one person was somebody I knew, or two people, I think maybe. But outside of that, it was just like, ran across a couple people. Most of the people, almost everybody we ran across either has had it, but the people that haven't feel like they're like so new to the game that they have no clue what's going on, which is very interesting. But yeah, that's really all I have about it.
Who else has got something?
I have to admit, I've not actually done any of the Gilded Voyages yet. I need to remember to look for them. Same with the Voyage of Lux. I think it's great that they're doing it where it's daily, but it'd be nice if it stacks. Like you could have like 2 or 3 at a time type of thing, rather than have to log on every single day for one. But that's just me being greedy, to be honest. But I am a pirate, so more loot. Yeah,
I would enjoy having the Gilded Voyages pop in, and actually stick throughout the rest of the actual promotional period that they've been doing other stuff with.
I actually completed all of my gift giving, but it was a little painful. A lot of the time it wasn't working. People weren't getting them. People were saying to shoot over the island and give it to them there, go to the ferry, get back on the canopy, do an emote, and then go into the gift emote. But eventually we got it all done. And I will say the Voyage of Exceptional Luck is really, really great. And I hope they continue giving those out.
All right. Well, if everyone's good on the Festival of Giving stuff, then it's interesting to hear what people would like to have with that. Let's move into season 18 in that case. Season 18 brings in the Eternal Guard, sanctuaries from the Banished, as well as a new type of weapon in the form of the purple trident of Dark Tides, which I think, at least for my case, I'm calling pixie sticks. Very, very nice. I really like how those things are working. It's kind of a shame that they are so limited to the sanctuaries. It is kind of a power weapon in this sense. But overall, I've had a really good time with the season. I think that the boss that they've brought in with the Eternal Guard is nice. When you find them, they're a good battle. I've gotten used to the mechanics and come up with a pretty sound strategy for dealing with them and not having to die, which hopefully everyone else is taking advantage of as well too. But looking to get some thoughts and feelings on the season so far. How's everyone doing on their act deeds and progress? Have you completed all of your commendations or the deeds associated with Act 1? Where's your renown level at? How are you doing in Sea of Thieves?
I've almost completed the entire season pass. I think I'm at 94 or so, and usually I can do that in a couple days. In terms of like season 18 in general, I like the Eternal Guard. I like that it's difficult to fight him. It's nice to see that you can't just one-shot him with one thing like you can in most fights on the seas. I do like the new event in general, and I do like all of the loot that it gives. The only thing, I guess the only problem I have with it is the amount of keys that you have to get, because that's pretty much the only thing left I have to do is to fish up keys or find an Ashen Guardian or 9, I guess. But overall, I think most people had those commendations done within the first week, and now they're moving on to other things.
Yeah, I had mine done very, very quickly. They were good. I love the sticks. I don't know where I'm up to a renown though, because I've turned all notifications off for that, because I always clear level 100 within the first couple of weeks. But I know I was 70 odd last time I checked a couple of days ago. So, but I'm more looking forward to Act 2. Act 2 is what I'm really excited for. And I just love the Raw is bustling again with different crews going into there every now and then. And basically, it'd be nice if there's more to it than just open up the vaults. But it's a good start.
Yeah, like even with not playing as much, I do appreciate, since I haven't been able to keep up with a lot of combinations and I like little check marks in my life. It was nice that and I'm not done with them all, but like it's mostly the keys left. But it's nice that like the combinations weren't like ultra grindy, and I was able to kind of slam them out and kind of keep up with things a little bit better. I know. The only thing that I found kind of odd was outside of sailing with you and Achik the other night, it seems like, at least for me, and it might just be the times that I'm sailing, like, I feel like the roar is just all to myself. Like, I feel like I just need to take a little pillow out there, take a nap, and be fine. Because, like, every time I've been out there outside of sailing with you guys, it just seems like nobody's even near us, which is kind of odd to me. But it might just be my luck.
Yeah, it really depends. I know I've seen a fair amount of people out there from time to time, but at the same time, I'm also running in instances where people are just kind of doing their own thing.
I am a big fan. You know, it's fresh, it's new. It's also just like different in like a way that a lot of other NPC enemies in Sea of Thieves are just, it doesn't quite have that same aesthetic, and it's nice and it's fresh and I like it. I'm waiting for an event that will pit us against 2 or 3 of these things. As I was telling you last night and you were upset about, I want like, I don't like Dark Souls, but I do kind of want like a Dark Souls-esque boss in Sea of Thieves, one that really stretches and tests your finesse in the game. But I am notably odd in that I want things to be harder in this game. But that's me. Also, I have to point out one thing, which was miffed about, is that she is the one who coined Pixie Stick in the first place. I remember, I was there.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good idea.
Godhammer, I'm kind of with you, buddy. Like, I'm not a Dark Souls-esque person, mainly because I just get frustrated. And it took me 40 years to even want to play games with stories in them. So, but I could go for like a boss that's, like, I'm okay with the combinations not being grindy. I'm okay with other things kind of being a little bit easier. But I could go with, I'm with you, I could go with the boss just being a little bit like, I don't know, make me take some effort.
Rusty's got the great idea here.
So the Eternal Guard is what you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've encountered well, at least one Eternal Guard right now, because I haven't been, laziness and whatnot. It's really hard, and I like the idea, this completely different enemy that you have to face, like, different from, like, skeletons and merfolk and krakens and megalodons. Like, finally we have ourselves, like, something that isn't, like, undead or from the sea, like, actual proper, technically it's still undead, but, like, an actual enemy from the past that we actually get to fight that is completely different. Like, that's very nice. Throwing its spears, poisoning us with bombs and poison darts from its blowpipe. Yeah, technically not undead, but I mean, still bound to bones and armor according to the Widow. So yeah, it's really nice. Like, if this is like the kind of boss fights we could expect, the basic enemies for the Dark Ancients, then I wanted to see what their commanders are like. Like, they're the captain of the Eternal Guard.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I will say is I've definitely appreciated that Rare's coming out with something that's more interesting in this season compared to last season. Just having the merchant, or not the merchant, the smugglers runs for the first act of season 17 was very lackluster. I think having the opportunity to go out and find these Ashen Guardians, and then to have the action, or have not the Ashen Guardians, the Eternal Guards, have the Ashen Guardians be another aspect of this, that you have to go find the Ashen keys to be able to open them up, kind of lives or adds a little variety to just doing the Eternal Guard, getting the key, and then going open and getting all the loot that's in the actual vault itself. I like that the vaults are only in the roar. I like that the vaults are locked to a key that you have to fight a boss for. It's going to be tedious. It'll be interesting to see how people engage with that over time, and if that's something that they want to continue doing, because I do think that the gold versus time is fairly well balanced. But I think that the real boon here is that we have new abilities on bosses that have not been seen since I'm assuming it's the actual Ashen Lords that brought in like the meteor shower and stuff. So it's nice to have something that's dangerous in a way that can't just be quickly cheesed, which I think is what people are trying to figure out right now is what's the quickest way to actually kill these things. Anybody have any thoughts on those as far as the Ashen Guards or the I don't know why I keep saying it, Ashen Guards, the Eternal Guards, and the lore that's tied to them as far as the actual Widow and how this is going to eventually start leading us closer and closer to the Sea of the Damned, or the Sea of Tribute?
Logan, it doesn't surprise me that, you know, people are trying to figure out how to kill these things quick, and maybe it's just me. Although they're a little bit harder than what we've had in a long time, I feel like they're still not, like, I don't know. To me, they didn't seem difficult, which is kind of why I kind of echoed what Godhammer said about the Souls. Like, I just feel like outside of the little poison, you know, getting poisoned a little bit, which is sometimes just almost impossible to kind of get away from. But like when he throws the spear and stuff, I'm like, you kind of know it's lined up. Like, you got plenty of time to get out of the way if you're paying attention. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I think they're not as hard as maybe some people might think they are.
Yeah, I definitely have kind of worked out the thing. I think honestly using the lure dart or the blowpipe is probably one of the best things for these fights, just given the nature of the damage of the stuff that you're doing. But yeah, grab a bucket of water for the darts. Use a lure dart to try and eat have them target one of those as opposed to you, and go in and just do damage when he starts summoning the skeletons. I think a lot of folks are going to figure out the best way for you to kind of take these things out. But I like the fact that they are invulnerable most of the time. I think them moving around is forcing us to kind of pay closer attention to the actual fight, because I think a lot of folks, myself included, would much rather sit by an ammo box with throwing knives and just chuck them at Ashen Lords and Skeleton Lords, which is not very challenging at the end of the day. And this is one of the few challenging fights, to Godhammer's point, that it's nice to have a boss that makes you kind of change things up a little bit more than what we've been used to for so long.
I think the only truly fearsome NPC opponent in this game is a Galleon tier Red Maw. Everything else is fairly by the numbers to beat, and so I like this. I like this one. It's not hard to beat, but it's also not easy to beat, which is nice. I like to have, because I've been doing this for so long. Most of the challenge outside of other players is gone, really.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that can keep it, fresh and interesting, and bring you a little bit of trepidation. Like every time I'm on a galleon and we see the Red Maw fin, it's just like, ew, probably gonna have to move out of this thing's way.
Yeah.
But everything else you can just sort of blow past real easy. So I like having something that'll make you stop and have to deal with it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I like this as one that you can actually choose to engage with or not. I think if these things were just kind of roaming in and about the world, at least the Eternal Guards, if they were just on islands, I think it may be too much of a deterrence or too much of a pain for folks that are fairly fresh to the game. They would, imagine you're trying to get like animals off of an island and there's an Eternal Guard patrolling in the area. That would be pretty hard to avoid and deal with, but it might actually force people to start using things like the crouch and disguise emotes to try and avoid detection from an Eternal Guard. So it could be one of those things that, we've opened up enough of the sarcophagus that Eternal Guards have managed to murder the pirates that had awakened them and are now just kind of free roaming on islands.
think the summary of that, Logan, is that Godhammer 90s just need to start playing Souls games.
Well, if they make a pirate one, I'm sure you guys would probably jump in.
I will not. I tried playing Dark Souls 1 and I just thought, I could be painting right now. And I stopped playing.
Anyone else have any thoughts on the new boss? Good, bad? Have you tried it? Have you not tried it? Are you looking forward to seeing them inevitably pushed to some sort of fortress?
I do wonder whether they're going to include it as one of the bosses for the Act 2 on Molten Sands. I think this would be quite a good boss to make Molten Sands a bit more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the fact that obviously with the orb, it was mentioning how Molten Sands was a very key place to the ancients. It would certainly be interesting to see how they tie that in, and it would be great to see a new boss rather than one of the normal Skeleton Lords or Ashen Lords patrolling Molten Sands. Or, alternatively, the Stitcher Jim Ashen Lord. I'd be happy with that one as well.
Maybe unpopular opinion, but Molten Sands is probably my favorite fort, aside from Keelhauled. But if there's a fort there and it's active, I will go there, just because it's fun to fight there, even though it's really far away in the roar. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it in Act 2. So yeah, I hope that maybe they'll bring the Eternal Guard there. Maybe there'll be more of like a mega loot stash there to get people to visit.
I think that's a popular opinion. I love Molten Sands. Great fort. Only thing I'm mad about is that Stitcher Jim never counted as Pirate Lord killed for my milestones.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I like Molten Sands. I think the only negative part is like carrying the loot all the way out. But outside of that, like, especially if you know, like the Eternal Guard was there, and you had a, like HX said, like some, you know, massive, you know, stash that you had to get out of there, and you're fighting other ships and stuff like that, kind of making it even more difficult. So I think that'd be interesting.
Well, I'm pretty sure I would be very surprised if the Eternal Guards were not part of the Molten Sands event that's going to happen in Act 2. At this point, I think it's really interesting that they've put a lot of emphasis on there. They've talked about there being 9 sanctuaries or 9 places that were kind of key points to the Sea of Thieves, as far as places where they had rituals of binding, like the armor for the Eternal Guards, where their souls were then bound to that armor, similar in the way that the Curse of Bones is in that same vein, where our souls are being attached to our bones as opposed to just our flesh and blood. It does make me wonder, because we have, let's see, 2 forts per sea. We've got Molten Sands is that. So that gives us 7 different locations. I'm assuming the Shores of Gold is one additional one, but that leaves a 9th place where the rituals used to take place that is still kind of in the air as far as like where that would have been. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the event. I'm hoping that there's a few different stages to it, and it's not just a wave-based fort where you're just kind of working through the 15 waves of skeletons to eventually get to the Eternal Guard, and that they vary things up, especially given the nature of that fortress. I am curious to hear if anyone that is looking forward to the Molten Fortress event, if you're hoping that this will then be opened up as a Dive 2 raid, where currently most of the raids on forts are all just to regular forts. We have yet to have like a raid voyage to a Molten Sands one. I think it would be nice, especially if we were given the opportunity to have a Reaper turn in the roar. I'm thinking of the Fetcher's Rest, just as like the opportune place where you can actually go turn in for Reapers. But having a place where you can go turn in for Reapers and having a Dive 2 voyage for Molten Sands Fortress, I think would be nice. I think it would be a good way to kind of add that to the pool of places you could actually venture out to.
So I'm good with the raid voyage to it, but I doubt it's going to have a mega stash at that point, because everybody's just going to dive to it. It's probably going to be just, basic loot, maybe the new loot, maybe a different chest kind of thing in that case. I think it would make it unfair if it was like a mega event, because I know I would just continuously dive to it.
See, with that as well, with you saying about Fletcher's Rest being a Reaper cash-in point, it would just be farmed non-stop if it was dive to. However, looking at the seasonal things for Act 2, it looks like it's activated. It's not like a natural spawn. It's not a dive to, it's an activate. So I would actually love for it to become something like the Fort the Damned, but with better loot and in the Ashen, in the Devil's Roar. Because I think that will bring people into the Roar more. And if it is the Ashen variant of loot, you could do an Ashen Cough, for example. And you're guaranteed that you will get people wanting to fight over it.
Yeah.
That's how I personally would like to see it go. Is it would be an activated fort, because of course Molten Sands only really pops up when someone's in Devil's Roar, which until a week or two ago wasn't very often. So if we had it where we had to manually activate it with an Ashen Skull or Damned or something, I think it'd be so much better. And I'm really excited for it, because I also used to love tucking on it back when the Roar first came in. They only had that fort. It was a big red skull, and I used to love rowing over to it, tucking on it, exploring it. And now with the advantage of the harpoon guns as well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be lots of different ways to play it, as well as, of course, having that active volcano over you at all times. I'm just really excited for it, to be honest, and I hope they do keep something in with it.
Yeah, I think it's going to revitalize the Roar in general, and especially having a second Reaper turn-in location, especially since I usually run Reaper. The only reason I'm going to the Roar is if I see another emissary out there and I know that they're potentially doing something that I want to steal. So it'd be easier to turn in there and get full gold for it rather than having to sail across the map.
So I think for myself, looking to see what they're doing with the next two acts, I think season 18 is looking to be a fairly decent one at that. We have the Molten Sands Fortress event that will bring in an Ashen Guard fight with some notable challenges. The deeds that are required for it look to be fairly in depth. You're going to have to complete an emissary quest to defeat an Eternal Guard for the Gold Hoarders. You'll have to activate Molten Sands using a key at the Gold Hoarder emissary. You're going to have to do this for Merchant Alliance. You're going to have to do this for the Order of the Souls. You're going to have to start cycling through all of the different factions and actually sell the Orb of the Banished, according to the deeds here, for each of the different trade factions, which as a Reaper, I think is going to be fantastic, because you're going to run into a lot more grade 5 flags and a lot more flags for different factions that realistically, I personally have not seen too many of. I rarely ever see anyone flying Merchant. I rarely ever see anyone flying Merchant or Hunter's Call. And if they do, they're typically out there looking for those Megalodons, which, as a Reaper, you can really only wait until you see them as a grade or an emissary to kind of see like what they are. And if they're out in the middle of the ocean for a while, then you can kind of get an idea of what they may be. But I still need a bunch of different flags to turn in for Reapers. And having something like this as a focal point for people to go to out in the middle of nowhere is going to ask players to really commit to focusing in on getting these deeds done. And it's not just a do it once and you're done kind of thing. It is most definitely going to have to be everyone has to go and do it as a different emissary for all of the different emissaries, including Reaper's Bones in this case.
It'll be, and that's the thing that'll fix one of the biggest problems with the event last season, which was the replayability of it, because you only needed to do it one and done. But doing it with this coming act, you'll have to do it a bunch of times to get all the ship crests that you're going to get out of this event, which will boost replayability, which will keep the event active, which is, what we're all shooting for.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I was just going to say, can we talk about the quick changes to Hourglass? I know we talked about it last month, but I know those are upcoming.
Yeah. Carl, did you have any last things on Act 2?
It's not specifically Act 2, but it is on the acts. What I do like is, whilst yes, the commendations are quite easily done, they do have a benefit as well. Now, for those who are into the lore will realise that once you achieve certain parts, so it happened in the last season with Duke, once you got a certain title, you were able to get access by using the journals and stuff to go see Duke. Similar kind of thing this season. Where when you find him, he tells you one thing, but once you've given in all of the tablets to the smugglers, his dialogue changes.
Yep.
So whilst it's not just a case of just ticking a box, there's actually lore tied to this now, and I'm very much enjoying that aspect of it.
That's a good shout too. Yeah, I don't think that I've remembered to mention that they once you do actually get to all of the. I think it's all of the tablets turned into the smugglers. Once you get all of those done, then you can go talk to Duke. And I think Duke, doesn't he send you to go talk to Ix on Crook's Hollow? I could be wrong.
He sends you to go see someone. I can't remember who it was now, but there's definitely something else onto that.
I'm pretty sure it was Ix due to the nature of their knowledge behind the constellations, which is ironic given Suds being in person in the game. But yeah, it's very nice to kind of have that sense of added lore to completing things that most people, unless you go back to talk to them, you probably don't know or haven't seen anything about it, unless you're trolling social media as well too. But let's get into the Hourglass changes. They are something that Drew and them have said that they're working towards getting into season 18. It will be nice to kind of see like how they managed to go about this, because they've indicated that they want to make it easier for you to get in and out of Hourglass without having to stock up as much, that you can get faster matchmaking, that you will have to have some sort of requirements before being able to get access to the Hourglass to then ensure that people who are cheating have a larger barrier of entry to be able to get into the Hourglass queues themselves. Whether they can spoof that remains to be seen. But they'll at least have to put up some sort of time and effort before they can go in and turn on their cheats, which will then make it less likely that they care about getting those accounts banned if they do get caught for cheating in this instance. But we also have like the automatic raising of a emissary flag that's been talked about, as well as the shrinking circle. So Chick, you wanted to bring this up. So what did you have in mind?
Yeah, you briefly mentioned all of the changes that are coming, and I know that the devs have come out and said like, hey, this is what's coming in Act 18 or Season 18. I'm not sure if it's Act 2 or 3 yet, if anybody knows, but I'm looking forward to those changes because I've been wanting to grind for my both gold bones and my guardian gold, but this has happened to me actually recently where I go in and most people just want a TDM. They go to an island and they beach their boat so you can't sink them, and then they just sit there and wait it out. We need to be able to have some sort of standardization in Hourglass to where people are there to fight and get out. And I'm really looking forward to those changes so that it just makes it fun for everybody that just wants to fight.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Anyone else have any feelings on the Hourglass as far as the changes that are coming? Are you looking forward to it or not?
I think
I'm looking forward to. Oh.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
I think the main change that I think will be most impactful is the gating behind certain levels. I don't know that Pirate Legend is I think that's a little high, but I think if you put in a barrier that's like 25 in 3 companies, I think that is a little bit more, because anybody who's cheating isn't gonna start grinding to 25. They're going to make a new account and jump immediately into Hourglass. They're not gonna sit there and grind merchants back up to 25. Or Hunter's Call up to 25. They're not going to do more treasure digs. They're just going to want to jump in, do their new account, and get back to griefing people.
Blue, you had something?
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm looking forward to the shrinking circle they mentioned because I do a lot of solo Hourglass, and it's really annoying when you get somebody that isn't just turning out to repair, like they're just running to be annoying and waste your time, because it's really hard solo to get them to stop running from you because there's not much you can really do to chase them easily.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a nice change. I think it kind of takes away from the opportunity to really kind of have that game of attrition. But I think at the end of the day, it'll probably be a more healthier change. It'll force people to make mistakes or gambles that will open up the gameplay a little bit more than just firing a few shots, taking some damage, pulling out, and then resetting.
The only concern that I have with the changes to Hourglass is it's going to force those cheaters back into adventure. So we're just going to have to consider that.
I don't disagree, but I think that Rare's done a fairly good job recently of cracking down on a lot of the security in the game. Compared to what we were seeing a year ago, I think that the game's in a much better state than it was when we were literally running into cheaters on a nightly basis almost.
I have to admit, it has been a long time since I've came across anyone that's been fairly obvious at cheating. There's been a few which have been like, oh, that's a bit of an interesting one. But I think it's more just like making use of loopholes, like the alter forming sync, for example. Actual cheating, things like teleporting, spawning kegs. I think I've had one in the last probably 6+ months now.
Yeah, I think it's mostly like toggling, aimbotting, ESP, those types of things. No flying kegs and stuff anymore.
Yeah, but even with aimbot and stuff like that, I don't think I've ever seen anyone that's that suspicious of that. But again, I've not really dove into Hourglass that much as of recent. But when I have, it's been all right. Thankfully, touch wood.
I ran in, me and Witch and Sam ran into a crew that were at times suspiciously good, but they also had all the bona fides to back up their skill. So yeah, I haven't seen any out and out cheaters.
Anyone else have any feelings or thoughts on that? Is there anything that might get you to join up on Hourglass? I know we were actually quick shout out before we really get into it. I did want to shout out that we have been getting some more people into the Hourglass group on Saturdays, and it's been great to see that folks are definitely jumping in and working towards actually helping each other get through to those curses, win or lose. Anything else?
Yes, I just wanted to shout out Sam for doing that. She's doing great, and she's having fairly decent success in like getting people out. And it's been nice seeing people engage with that feature because I know she handles it. She handles this thing pretty well because I've done Hourglass with her, and I know she's learned. I'm not going to say she's learned from me. That sounds high and mighty, but she knows what makes a good boat tick. And so, yeah, I love that she's doing that and helping people out.
Yeah, I agree. It's been fantastic. Was there anything else anyone wanted to bring up? All right. Well, we're pretty much at time. So if everyone's good, then we'll go ahead and do our shout outs as we head out and get everyone back on the seas. So, as always, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Achik, as we're heading out, anything you want to say or shout out as we head out?
Yeah, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. It's been fun, and I'm looking forward to 2026.
Same, myself included. Blue Crab, we're heading out. Anyone you want to shout out or say as we get out of here?
I would just like to say I'm very thankful that Rare seems to be doing a better job with their updates and events. They seem to be getting back on track.
I agree as well, too. Godhammer, we are heading out. Anyone you want to shout out or anything you want to let us know about?
Yeah, I am gonna, of course, shout out my favorite crew, Sam, Tengu, which you guys are all the best. But I also want to shout out the people behind the Orb stream. Very thankful for these people. They did an incredible job. Thank you so much to Status Hidden and Edge of Elysium from the group Status Effect, and Chatrat, oh god, Chatrat, CHTRAT. And Peaceful from Lurkit. They were the people behind the Orb stream, and they deserve kudos. Well done. You did great. Hope to see you again next year.
Agreed. Yeah. Fantastic job. Really looking forward to what can happen in the future, either with Orb streams or just any other events that they're able to get access to help out with, because very, very well done. Carl, we are heading out, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out or say as we go?
Mainly echoing Godhammer's words there. You know, the team behind the Orb, the guys at Sea of Thieves, Rare, Lurkit, absolute awesome events. Made massive difference to lots of people, and also a special thank you to everyone who came and showed me and Oliver some love on the Ember Family Gaming channel. To see so many people excited meant the absolute world to the both of us, and had his mum in tears on more than one occasion. The only other thing I want to mention as well, of course, is we are fast approaching the end of the year, which means we're going to be really knuckling down with Softfest 2026 plans. So that'll be happening July 10th and 11th. If you don't know what Softfest is, check out for the socials. It's well worth checking out.
Speaking of which, I have not gotten my free airplane ticket and lodging for that, but I'll go ahead and send you a quick little email as a reminder for that, and A-Check as well too, and Godhammer as well. And might as well throw Rusty and everyone else.
Did Davrim not give it you?
No. He told me to reach out to you. He said that you were the man on the wheel for that one. So that's why I was just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, look, I wish I could go. Definitely hope you guys have a really good SOT Fest. I'm very sad that I won't be able to make it out this year, but as long as y'all keep doing it, there's always going to be a better opportunity for me to actually make it out there. Regis, we are out. Anyone you want to shout out or anything you got going on you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to shout out my my mom, who unfortunately passed away like a little over 3 years ago, and this will be the third Christmas that we get to have without her. And she's loving, and she was loving and caring, and miss her greatly. And yeah, this Christmas is now very hard, just with my mom just not being there.
Yeah,
I really miss her, and I really wanted to shout her out, because you don't realize how important your parents are until they're gone like that.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and it's a good thing to remind yourself that you do have folks that love you and are around you all the time, and we may lose them from time to time, but it's always good to keep them in your hearts and keep them close, especially during the holidays when they were there most of the time, keeping us company and bringing us joy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, just, gosh, I miss her.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, as we head out, Rusty, anyone you want to shout out or anything that you want to say as we get out of here?
Glad that I got to actually chime in for once. This time of year is kind of busy with coaching wrestling and everything. So got to be home a little bit today. Got to say a little bit more. Shout out to the OG Black Rose crew with Prof and Hefe. Hefe has, between having a kid and moving into a monstrosity of a house that has an east wing, a west wing, a freaking south wing. Gosh knows how big this freaking house is. He's building a family compound now. So, but we got to sail again for once, for the first time in a long time. So much love to those guys. We've been sailing together for almost 8 years now. So, and yeah, everybody, I just hope you guys, try to have the best holidays and Christmas you guys can, a good New Year's. 2026, I mean, here we go. I'm closer, I'm farther away from the year 2000 now than I was when I hitting the age of 40 this year was a hard one. So we'll see how 2026 goes, folks. So hey, much love to you guys, and I just hope you guys have a good rest of your year.
Thank you. You too. Good call outs on that one. And then Sam, we are heading out. Anything you want to shout out or say as we get out of here?
Yes, 2 things. Shout out to my crew, Sam and the rest of them. I haven't been online for a while, but that's a different matter. And also, shout out to, it's going to be a weird one, shout out to my parents who got married today.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
That's why I haven't been online. It's, I'm here in my home country.
Well, that's fantastic. Congratulations to them and to you as well, too. All right, folks. Well, it's always that time of year when you're looking to do what you can for those that you have. And remember everyone that has brought you joy in life, and know that even the folks that seem like they are the happiest could use some little love and attention, because sometimes they're putting on a face and want to make sure that they're being strong for everyone else. So make sure you're reaching out to your friends, make sure you're reaching out to your family, make sure you're taking care of yourself, and make sure you're taking care of others when you can. And with that, Pirates, I think that's going to do it. So get out there, get some treasure, get some gifts, get some joy in your life, and hopefully everyone has a fantastic rest of your year. And we'll see you later.